While it's important for companies to assess the risk related to hiring third-party contractors and suppliers, this can be difficult to accomplish internally. BROWZ works with the world's largest enterprises to qualify their supply chains and mitigate risk. Aaron Rudd, Vice President of Product Development, is here to tell us more. Welcome, Aaron.
Thank you very much. Really happy to be here today.
Aaron, why is it so challenging for companies to try to assess third-party contractors and suppliers on their own?
You know, there's multiple reasons that we find with these large customers. The first is complexity. They're large organizations that can be decentralized, they can be very siloed in their management approaches, they can have complex supply chains, and they really lack visibility. So when we start working with them, they really oftentimes don't know what they don't know.
Right.
And so we help them to have a discovery of what they're not able to see. The second thing we help them with is we help them with software and technology. And they're really challenged with having a platform in which they can see the risk that they're exposed to. Oftentimes it'll be on spreadsheets or it'll be done in file cabinets and they don't have software for that visibility. The other challenge, and the third, one of the largest, is in our day and age of cutting costs and being as lean as we can as organizations, they don't have the manpower and the people resources that they need to be able to conduct those assessments.
And so how does BROWZ help qualify suppliers and mitigate risk?
You know, we take a very consultative approach when we do this. We view each one of these large companies as a unique organization, and we like to help them develop a program that meets their specific needs. So our first approach is to bring a consultative best practices approach to building a solid program. The second then is to configure our software technology to help come into alignment with those program requirements. And then lastly, we enable our service teams to work as an extension of those clients, to partner with them from a people resource perspective and be able to help them manage an entire program end to end, all pieces of it.
And so, Aaron, what are companies doing before they hire BROWZ to perform this work?
You know, there's really quite a range of what these companies are engaged in. It could be a range in which they have very sophisticated internal programs that they've built over years and years that they're managing internally. And those folks are looking perhaps for outsourced solutions. We also find that there's less mature organizations where they may be doing a very small amount. Now, typically, clients will range on anywhere along that spectrum from just having contracts in place to having a very matured program in place. But what we find is that it's typically managed very inconsistently.
Aaron, could you please explain your process?
You bet. One of the key steps in our process is the configuration of our software platform. We want to make sure that that platform uniquely matches the footprint and the requirements of each client. A second step in that process is key, and that is the assessment of the supplier and contractor information. And this is a key where we really differentiate from what companies can do themselves. When the contractors and suppliers submit that information, it's not enough to take it on face value. We need to make sure that the documents are verified. We may run that against third-party databases and public and private databases. We may also then have our assessment and audit team go and review that against regulatory compliance as well as against client requirements. So the assessment piece is critical in ensuring accurate, verified, complete data. The last piece is really how do we support the contractors and suppliers? How do we keep them informed? How do we keep in communication with them, whether it's outbound phone calls or emails? Each supplier and contractor is assigned a single point of contact at BROWZ to make sure that they feel like their needs are being represented and that they're always in communication and understand what they need to do.
Could you please speak about your patented technology?
Yeah, good question. So we're the only one in our industry that's secured a patent. And one of the reasons we did that and what makes BROWZ unique is that each one of our clients is a very matrixed organization. They're global. They work across many countries. They work across many different business units, oftentimes even different supplier types. In order to mitigate risk, each supplier has to be assessed appropriately. Which site do they work at? Which country are they in? Which risk level are they in? Our patented technology keeps track of all of those relationships. It helps map the risk associated to those suppliers across those different demographics of our clients. And that really is the core of that patent. It's the engine that helps give our clients assurance. And that really is what the patent's about, assurance of compliance across a matrixed and complex supply chain.
Aaron, what types of information do you collect and validate?
You know, at the core of what we do, we want to start collecting insurance and risk information as well as health and safety information. Those become very foundational. From that, we'll build. We'll gather information around financials. We'll gather information around employee-level compliance requirements. We'll look at corporate social responsibility and look at sustainability issues. So we have a variety of different ways in which we'll build a program and a variety of different areas that we'll assess for each contractor and supplier.
Aaron, please tell us which industries you support.
You know, we support a really large number of different industries. I think our number's up to about 33 different industries we support today. It would be inclusive of industries such as the utility industry, the chemical and pharma industry. We're also working with the mining, cement, aggregate industries. And we're excited to be working also in entertainment, believe it or not, as well as transportation and rail. So we have quite a depth and quite a diversity of industries we work with.
Aaron, it looks like BROWZ can be immensely helpful for supplier qualification and risk mitigation. Thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having us.